Good job. You won a former champion for your next opponent. Are you looking at any former champion in any specific weight division?
I mean, it doesn't really matter. I want to step up the competition, no doubt. I know, all of this prepares me for the world title, so I'm just very excited, very grateful to God that, we got this opportunity to, be in there with a great opponent. And, he beat Mark Castro, which is another great prospect. He couldn't do that to me tonight, though. And I said that, he was crafty, he was slick, he was a great fighter, but at the end of the day, we did what was necessary to get the job done. That's what we did.
Right over here, Milano, congratulations. So was there points in the fight where you felt a little frustrated based on his awkwardness or his style? How were you able to maintain that discipline and advice from your father to kind of pull through that?
Yeah, he was definitely a little awkward for sure. My father just kept on telling me go to the body, obviously be smart, and the shots opened up. So I'm just very happy, and obviously I listened to my father, so I'm grateful that we got the victory.
Hi, Emiliano, congratulations. Were you surprised Agustin Quintana lasted as long as it did? Did you think the fight should have been stopped a lot earlier?
No, I think Quintana obviously, he was in there for sure. I saw him break in the ninth round, and when you break somebody's spirit, you can definitely tell. So that's a business that we're in. If he had the opportunity to hurt me or take my health away, he would. So that's the sport that we're in. We're modern day gladiators at the end of the day. So my hats off to him, but we got the victory, and I saw him breaking down round by round. I felt very confident. Obviously, my last fight, I went the full 10, and I learned a lot. Picked up, definitely more defense. But this fight, I'm gonna grow definitely more from this for sure.
Emiliano, congratulations, Ronald Sanchez. What do you think was the main key for tonight's victory?
I think just crossing all the check boxes off. I prepare myself to the fullest, during even the Super Bowl and everything else, all the craziness that was going on. Ring Magazine and flying here and doing this, I had to make sure that I had to get my work done at the end of the day, and we did that. So my dad was behind everything, getting me all the sparring, getting me everything, and getting me prepared for this fight. So I'm just very happy. I'm very happy that I got to fight back here in Phoenix and feel the crowd and the energy. There was nothing like it. So I definitely want to see we main event, no doubt.
Emiliano, felicidades on to these longer, lengthier fights and actually getting those rounds under your belt.
I feel the growth. I want to, I watched my fight in the locker room. I want to go back to the gym and work on everything. So that's the type of fighter I am. That's the type of person I am. I can't wait to be back in the gym. I'll definitely be back Monday.
Fernando, what was your takeaway from the fight? What did he do great? What can he do better?
No, you know what? We're in with somebody that we knew that he wasn't going to come and lay down. And Emiliano needs these type of fights to grow as a fighter. And he's only going to go up from here. And so I'm proud of his performance. He listened to what I was telling him to do. He went to the body, and I'm like, this guy could take some body shots, man. And this guy's really seasoned where he's not trying to go down. You know what I mean? But we started picking it up, and we were able to get the stoppage at the end. So at the end of the day, I'm proud of Emiliano. He wasn't at all tired. He's a perfectionist. And so I'm just very proud of him. You know what I mean? Emiliano's the next face of boxing, and that's no spade.
I think also, he'll fight 3 more times this year for sure. And as we've seen tonight, and as a result, the notoriety and his image is getting out there as one of the more recognizable names in the sport, but he's also only 21 or 22 years old. So no matter who he fights, you're going to get the best version of that opponent, because for the opponent, it's like a world title fight. If I beat Emmy, then I'm going to get a payday. So he knows that. So that's why 7 weeks of training and and not missing a day and doing what he has to do. He has to come more prepared the next time. But we wouldn't put him in that position if we didn't know that their team, his management, and his dad knew this. His dad went through the same thing. You know, everybody's gonna say, oh, I got a shot at Emiliano, you're gonna get a better version of whoever it is, but he'll be better because of tonight.
Last question, please. Thank you. Hey, great performance, Emiliano. And speaking of Super Bowl, yeah, we all saw you at the Super Bowl. So, what are you doing as this newfound fame to keep yourself level-headed? Because sometimes it just gets to people, and then they end up going Hollywood. But how do you try to stay focused and just focus on being a boxer first and then a star later?
I mean, we think we keep the main thing the main thing. At the end of the day, boxing is the bread and butter, and put me, you know, in that position. And you know, I always say this. I say God's plans are greater than mine. So, you know, this year, you know, who knows what we have in store. I definitely know that I'm going to be fighting 3 more times, staying busy, staying active. But you know, I thank my team. I thank my father. I thank, you know, everything that's happened for sure to keep me level-headed, and the type of mentality that I carry myself for sure. I want to get back in the gym. I want to have a new fight date. I want to keep on growing. I want to fight these top guys and pick up that experience at the end of the day. So I want to thank everybody a part of it. I want to thank the fans. I want to thank Matchroom. I want to thank Top Rank, the Zone. You know, you're going to see this face a lot more, a lot more. And you know, whether they like it or they don't, is happening, no doubt. Y a todo mi público.
So we saw Devin was here ringside with you. We know his name has been thrown out with a couple of fighters, Keyshawn Davis and Ryan Garcia being one. They've even gone as far as to say that he's ducking them, or Ryan even said in his press after the fight that Devin has PTSD and fighting him. Is that a fight that we're going to see happen or make happen anytime soon?
Yeah, I mean, Devin's not my fighter, but you know, we've had some good history. Sometimes not so good, but generally we've got a great relationship. And I was just talking to him. You know, I think he's a phenomenal fighter. Sometimes I said to him tonight, I think you can be better. You know, I think if you believe in yourself a little bit more, up at 147 pounds, you're going to cause a lot of problems. And I don't know who will beat him in that weight class. I said to him, look, we have Lewis Crocker. He's fighting Liam Parra. If we come through that, we could do a unification. He wants to fight Ryan Garcia. And I think that's probably one of the biggest fights in the sport with that build-up and the history. But, you know, he's his own man. Maybe one day we'll work together again. But he's in a really nice position. 3-division world champion, current welterweight world champion. But for me, Ryan Garcia against Devin Haney, with the history, is the one to make. Hello, sir.
Eddie, what was the final crowd count?
We're waiting on it. I think it's 11,000 something. So it was nice to do the entire lower bowl, because sometimes you chop some of that off for production. Opened up the top tier, got nicely into that. I thought the crowd was phenomenal. Atmosphere, unbelievable. I think Phoenix is a fight city, Glendale, you know, I mean, it's very, you know, even when you look at the atmosphere from the prelims, you know, the guys that were selling the tickets, I mean, you struggle to get that kind of atmosphere for a main event on some shows that I see. And if you look at the atmosphere for the Jordan Martinez Cardenas fight, that was as good as any main event atmosphere you see on, dare I say, other shows. But, you know, sometimes our shows. And I actually think that, you know, I was talking to the team tonight about, I think that's a fight that has to be run back. And I appreciate it's not of the Navarrete levels, but there are other venues that hold 3,000 to 4,000 in Phoenix that fight alone would fill up on a rematch. So this is a wonderful, wonderful fight city. And as I always say to you, sir, educated crowd, educated audience. You know, they're walking around tonight, when you're bringing Bam back here, you know, fuck Dana White. Wow, what did Conor Bear, man, you know, and that's like, they follow everything, you know. So that's a good crowd, not just in atmosphere, but a good crowd to be able to have conversation with, because they know they're boxing. And you see that in the atmosphere.
Here the crowd is kind of part of the show, which I'm not sure we see too often from promoters.
Say that again.
The crowd is like tonight, the crowd, the
and the crowd and the energy are so important, not just for the occasion, but for the fighters and how they perform, and also the product on TV. Like ultimately, people are tuning in around the world. What happened with boxing was, people got lazy, and there was so much money from the TV rights that the gate revenue became less important in terms of the piece of the pie. And they gave up, and they went to smaller venues that cost less, with no union, and it was like, where can we stage an event as cheaply as possible? Rather than, how can we get the biggest crowd, create the best atmosphere, the greatest energy, and give everybody a night. I feel like everybody that leaves tonight goes, I had a great night. I've got value for money. I'm coming back. And that for us is key.
Eddie, I wanted to ask you a question. I wanted to get an update. I think all of us wanted to get an update on what's going on with Boots and Shakur Stevenson, especially Boots, because it appears that the other fight has drifted away. You know?
Possibly.
Possibly.
Possibly. Only possibly. I mean, look, firstly, Boots has got a multi-fight deal with us. Shakur we've been working with him fight by fight, so, you know, he's his own guy. I think he plans to come back in the summer. But as far as Boots goes, I think this week or the next few days is the last opportunity to make the Virgil Ortiz fight. I am still hopeful because I think it's the best fight in boxing in America. We have a job to do at the moment for Jaron Ennis, and if we can't get Virgil Ortiz, the primary target for him is Xander Zayas, and that's a big fight. And of course, Josh Kelly, who is a matchroom fighter, just won the IBF world title, so that's an opportunity as well. I just feel like those two, you know, I'd like to do Boots against Virgil Ortiz, Xander Zayas against Josh Kelly, and then the winners fight each other. And you know, but for me, we talked as a team the other day, you know, the promo team, the artwork team, what would we call Boots v Ortiz, you know? Mayweather Pacquiao's the one. I said, we're just going to keep it simple. The best fight in American boxing. That's what we're going to call it, because it really is. And if we can get it done, it'll invigorate the sport, and I haven't given up yet. So just give me a couple more days, and if I don't get it over the line, you can shout.
Eddie, one last question. I wanted to get your opinion on some comments that was made by Teofimo Lopez. He said that he followed the script, and that's why the fight ended in the way it did. So I just wanted, yeah.
Strange. He still blames me for losing to George Kambosos. I don't know what I had to do with it, but no, I mean, the script, there was no script, but if you were writing a script, you would say you just weren't good enough. And you fought one of the best fighters of our generation. That was all. And actually, you could see in the first 30 seconds of the fight what was going to happen in that fight, and it just played out every single round. But Teo's a great fighter, but Shakur's just on another level.
Eddie, good to see you again. So you re-signed Bam. I know that you really want to have the undisputed with Willibaldo Garcia. Update on that, and I know that there's one of the Maloney twins that wants to fulfill his mandatory. Any update on that?
Yeah, so obviously now planning the next fight with Robert and Bam, I think end of May, early June. Willibaldo Garcia has a mandatory against Maloney, which he can't get out of, and Maloney won't move. Not for step aside, not for a fight on the undercard to fight the winner, and I respect that. You know, that's he wants his shot. So we're talking to Boxstars about maybe staging that fight. I'm talking to Bam and Robert about maybe moving to bantamweight, maybe fighting Medina Chispo, who just fought on our show in Guadalajara, and then maybe returning to fight for the undisputed. But it's going to be difficult to fight that fight next, unless it happens very quickly, because we've made the decision that Bam will be having a big homecoming fight in the summer in San Antonio, which I think will be phenomenal. He deserves it. You know, if not, I'd bring him back here. But it's time to go to San Antonio. If we can find a way to do undisputed, that'd be great. But if not, you may see him move up and try and win a third division championship before maybe coming back for the winner of that fight.
Thank you. Eddie, what's the next move for Sugar Nunez, and do you think he may become a world champion?
Yeah, for sure. Like, he's devastated at the moment. I have to say, what a fighter Navarrete is. I mean, I've watched a lot of boxing, probably nearly 40 years, and I've never seen a fighter so relaxed, so awkward, so dangerous. He wasn't breathing. And they tell me he doesn't drink water till the 6th round. I mean, he doesn't look like this guy should fight like that. But coming into this fight, they said, oh, he has a new fitness trainer, he has a nutritionist now. Oh, and you saw the difference. When he doesn't take it so seriously, sometimes he becomes a little bit unstuck. When he does, which he clearly did in this fight, I think he's going to be very difficult to beat. And I said to Sugar Nunes, who's devastated, that's the best of the best. You know, some guy come up to me in the crowd, we didn't nearly have a fight, but before the fight he came up to me and he said, I'm telling you, Navarrete's on another level. Yeah, you'll remember this conversation after the fight. I said, I don't agree. I think our guy's going to win. But listen, this is what it's about, right? Trying to be the best. And he said, no. And as the fight finished, I was walking back to him. I told you. I said, listen, this is what you have to do. You win the world championship. You defend it. You have to try and see if you can be the best. And if you can't be the best, it's okay. Oh no. I said, you shouldn't have put it in with him. What are you talking about? That's exactly what you should be doing. You should be chasing greatness. Sugar made a lot of money tonight. He had a chance to become the superstar of the division, but he didn't. Everybody saw how much heart he had. Everybody saw that he didn't quit. Everybody saw that he couldn't see after the 6th, 7th round and never stopped. And even when the doctor pulled the fight, he just wanted to keep going. And I said to him, it's okay. You're just not the best yet. But he's probably second. And he'll be out for a while with the eye, 4 or 5 months. And then he'll be back, and I believe he'll be world champion again.
Congratulations on a great card. Around the 10th round in Nunez's corner, it got kind of chaotic. And I noticed that you were over there. Chavez stood up and was signaling that it should be stopped. Could you kind of describe the scene between the 10th?
Yeah, I felt that Sugar was going to get stopped. He couldn't see, and at that stage there was no way of winning the fight. So for me, I hate going over to the corner because that's their job. But I felt like the fight should have been stopped. They left it in the hands of the doctor, and for me, the doctor should have stopped the fight that round before. But they gave him the opportunity, and you know, ultimately. And they gave him the opportunity, but for me, when you can't win a fight from that position anymore, and when you can't see, and when there's a chance for further injury, I'm glad the fight was stopped when it was. Like, that was what I was doing, going over to see. It's not up to me to say, stop the fight, but I wanted the fight to be stopped at that point.
Eddie,
Last one for me, because you need to speak to the champ.
this is for both of you
Okay.
guys. Emmanuel Navarrete has been saying on a couple of his interviews that it will be a dream for him to fight Shakur Stevenson. Would you be interested in making that fight? Because, well, he might have an awkward style of fighting, but it's very effective. And that might be the guy that can put Shakur in problems.
Yeah, I mean, again, that's a conversation for Carl and you know, probably Shakur as well. But for me, to beat Shakur Stevenson, you have to be exceptional, but you have to be able to cause him problems, and he does have the style that's going to cause everybody problems. You know, he's an incredible fighter. I think it's time. I think he's probably been on there before. Carl will be able to tell me, but I really feel like he should be on the pound for pound list. Yeah. I really do. 3 division champion. I think he's been on there before. Carl, was he at some point? But
Well, if he hasn't, he certainly should be. I mean, I thought the difference was tonight, this was his 17th world title fight. And next to Canelo and Inoue, it's probably the most in boxing right now. So, you know, what you've seen in the past, whatever, it's all the result of tonight. Because when you're fighting world titles or challenging for world titles at different weight classes, it shines tonight. No disrespect to Nunes, he was the biggest puncher in the division, and I don't know, maybe it was a very competitive, one-sided fight. I guess you could look at it like that. And as the fight went on, he just hit a second gear and was and that's his best advantage. And, you know, I don't even know if he showered. He looks like he didn't even do anything tonight, and he's perfected. He doesn't have a fucking clue of what I'm saying right now, because I don't understand
I'm
anything.
gonna,
But that's
actually,
okay.
Kieran, come in. I'm gonna leave you guys, Carl, everybody. No, but Kieran's gonna come and translate. Anyway, congratulations, Jim. Well done, well done.
Thank you.
Also say thank you to Sugar for taking up the challenge. It was a difficult fight for him, but you know, I believe that it was a really good fight tonight. I want to also say thank you to the people of Phoenix. This is kind of become Vaquero Navarrete's second home. I feel appreciated here, and the whole team feel the love that I get from you guys in Phoenix and in Glendale. I want to say thank you as well. I think from my point of view, it was a great fight tonight. I'm hoping that Sugar Nunez can come back soon. He can recover as well and get back on the road to recovery. And for me, it was wonderful to finally unify the division. It's been a long time coming, and so to do that tonight was wonderful. It seemed as though you didn't want to, you know, some people were saying that you didn't want to knock out Sugar Nunez. And also you kind of felt pity for him as you were going through that 10th round. Is that true? And Vaquero's answer was, you know, no, we're professionals, and this sport can look cruel at times, and I'm sure when you saw to see Sugar cut, hurt, you know, that might have seemed the case, but it wasn't the case, and I think it would be, I have great respect for Sugar going into that fight, and I wouldn't make that decision for personal and sporting reasons. I would never do that. I think it would be a lack of respect to the work I've put in, a lack of respect to my career and also my team to do that. But yeah, all I can say is that Sugar came in, he was a really strong fighter. Despite being hurt, he continued to fight. And you know, I'm just grateful to him for showing that impetus and that willingness to want to continue in the fight tonight. And you came back today with this performance. I just wanted to know what your thoughts were in terms of your career at now 31, which you are. No, I didn't actually say that. I just said that I didn't expect to have such a prolonged career and have so much longevity within my career. And I also, at that time, I was coming off an injury, so that kind of messed around my plans a little bit. But I was really happy with what I saw tonight. I feel like